I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up. I sell the products I used in this project and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website and a card kit available for purchase that includes all the cardstock cut and scored and Stampin' Dimensionals. Order the stamps, ink, and essential tools from Stampin' Up, and either order the cardstock and envelopes from Stampin' Up or the pre-cut card kit from me. You'll see where to find all of that at the end of this video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. I use the Happy Birthday to You stamp set. This is a Sale-a-Bration stamp set that you can get for free with a $50 purchase US. I used soft sea foam, So Saffron, and Blueberry Bushel ink. I will be using an aqua painter, an embossing buddy, Versamark ink, and White Stampin Emboss Powder. My card kit comes in a Whisper White piece of cardstock, so don't throw that away. It's very useful for other projects. I've got Blueberry Bushel card base that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'll have your envelope for you. A piece of Whisper White cardstock to go on the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. A strip of Whisper White cardstock that's 1.5 by 4 1/4. And a piece of shimmery white cardstock that is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I have some dimensionals. I tossed this into my supplies for this kit. I saw a tip that when you're taking this off the stamp, when you're getting ready to mount, save this piece because you can use it as a guide to cut out for any of your stamps. Here's a sneak peek though. There will be a die set that will cut out this for you. It will also cut out the flowers separately and the cake stand separately, so if you like to cut things out, that's coming in February. We're going to start off by stamping the inside with Happy Birthday in Blueberry Bushel ink. And I'm stamping this near the top so I have lots of room for a greeting underneath and to sign my card. And then in soft sea foam ink, I am going to stamp just these flowers in the bottom left corner. And we can go ahead and adhere that to the inside of the card. Then we're going to stamp just the flowers in that soft sea foam, just on the outside edges. And we might as well stamp them on the envelope as well if you'd like. We are going to adhere this strip to the card front, about an inch up from the bottom. And then we're going to stamp Celebrate in the Blueberry Bushel, and we're going to stamp that near the top. We're going to give a few minutes for that to dry, and then we're going to clean our stamp. Just in case my stamping cleaner was a little bit dirty, I'm going to just stamp this off a little bit more, just to be sure, because we're going to be embossing with white. And I'm going to dust this with the embossing buddy. This is probably dry, but I just want to pat up here, I don't want to smear that ink. Taking out my Versamark pad. The Versamark pad is a little bit sticky. It takes a little bit longer to dry than our regular inks, and that's why we use it. It's actually clear, And I'm going to stamp this on the shimmery white cardstock. I'm going to get out just a scrap of paper to catch any extra dust. I'm using just going to pour on the embossing powder, and this all goes back in. Give it a couple of flicks, and I can fold this paper and just pour it back into the tub. I don't think I mentioned you will need a heat tool, and this will heat up the powder and turn it extra white and shiny. It looks kind of dull white right now. It does take a minute to heat up, and I'm sorry for the noise, but I'm holding you up close to the camera. Hopefully you'll see as this turns white and shiny. There, it's starting to go on the base. This does get very hot, so I don't want to blow this toward my fingers. I really hope you can see this. You do want to check every area to make sure it's shiny. If anything did not get melted on there, it will just brush off when we go to painting. My favorite way of painting is to use a Stampin' block, clear block, and just pick up some of the ink and the aqua painter. I'm going to start with plenty of water and just a little bit of ink because I want to see where that cake is. So if I paint here, the ink will not stick to the embossing, and it kind of helps it from going outside the lines. So hopefully now that we can see where the cake is, I'm going to pick up a little bit more ink and get the size of the cake. Go a little bit darker with the sides and the base, and then the very tip-top layers here. I see a little bit more of the cake that I need to make a little bit more yellow here. It might help for you to refer to the image on the stamp set. Okay, and then I'm just going to clean my brush by brushing it on my graph paper or any kind of scrap paper you might have. Then I'm going to clean my block just with a tissue and pick up some of the soft sea foam. This is a very light color, so I can pick up plenty of ink to color the leaves. Now I have found that it's easy to miss a leaf or two as you're working, especially if you're working kind of, if you get your head right on top of where you're working, it'll be easier, and I can't do that with the camera. So when I'm done with the flowers, I'll be able to see them better, and I can go back and pick up any leaves. I went over the edge a little bit, but I think it's just fine. If you don't like that, you can go back with just water and see if you can pick up some of that ink and lighten it up. Let me show you what I mean. And I'm picking up virtually all of that green. I'm running a little short of ink here, so I'm just picking up a little bit more. And I think I have the leaves, so I'll clean that off. Clean off my block. And then I'm going to pick up the blueberry bushel. This is a much darker ink. It's always good to start light, so I'm just picking up a little corner. I think you can see how that embossing powder helps keep you in the lines. And hard to see those flower buds. And you can always come back and make it darker if you'd like. Maybe that's a little too dark, so I'll pull up some of that ink. It's really better to add more ink than to pull it up, but there you go. I do want to color the very bottom, this cake stand. And I'm just using really light, just a little bit of ink there. And I think that's about right. So then all I need to do is put this onto my card front with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I've given you in the kit about a dozen dimensionals. I don't count them, I just cut up this sheet. But you should have at least a dozen, so you have more than enough. I'm using 5. And just set that on the card. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. And you'll find a PayPal button to order the card kit you saw in this video. Under Shop, I have tips for online shopping, frequent shopping rewards, and products I offer to help you stay organized. I offer a cardstock sampler, taggers to help you identify those dies with lots of similar shapes, heavy-duty bags to store 12 by 12 and 6 by 6 paper, a replacement tip for the fine tip glue pen in case yours gets clogged, and a bow maker. Share my Evernote notebook of current products for a nominal contribution. It functions as a fully searchable catalog. Inspiration takes you to all my projects. If you're new to stamping, you might want to look at the basics. You'll find how to cut card bases and layers, what's special about Stampin' Up! Stamps, and some of my favorite tools. Under Organization, you'll find catalog tabs, labels and case inserts, a practically free stamp pad storage solution, a basic toolkit, as well as a compact desktop toolbox, and lots of color charts. You can take a tour of my craft wall. More organization means more time for crafting. Come stamp with me here in Ventura County, California, or get the best deal of all and join my team of crafters. The team is called SIP Together, and it stands for Stamps, Ink, and Paper Together. The team is made of crafters who want to save money on the products they buy, share with a few friends, or grow a business like mine. Be sure to subscribe to my website and on YouTube. I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you for joining me. Talk to you soon. Bye.